Hey guys, I'm back. I didn't go AWOL. I appreciate all the messages checking in to see where I was at. I took a little bit of time off. As all you guys know, the work-life balance is hard sometimes. Being a present boss, giving customers consistent quality while fumbling through and learning how to run a business and still being a good husband and father is really rough sometimes. And sometimes you have to back burner stuff that you really love to do, like this podcast. And with that being said, if you guys caught my quick little intro asking that I want to hear from you guys, I want to clarify something. I've been pretty selective about who I choose to have on here for reasons. I want to have people who are relatable and who have been there and in the trenches. I want to talk to people who have something to teach or something to learn. I started this podcast because I wanted to meet and learn from other people in the industry. I regularly get emails from you guys, and I'm honored that you even care about my opinion. I'm positive there are way more qualified people out there to help me answer these most asked questions. So instead of doing the same format as I always do, I kind of want to table a few questions and have a mini series with short episodes for the next couple months to answer some of those questions that everybody has been asking. So yes, I do want to hear from you guys. I'm going to put a list of questions out on our Instagram page, such as what did you learn the hard way? What was your biggest pain point? What do you wish you knew before you started? And things like that. If you've got answers to some of these questions, I want to hear from you. We can make these short, we can make these 15 minutes, we can make these 30 minutes, we can make these an hour if you want. It's up to you guys and what you feel you can add value to. So, by the time you hear this, I want to have these questions posted. If you want to hop on a call with me, give me an email, kevin@jmwfabrication.com. We'll set up a time and we'll see what we can do. I want to start putting these out as they come. So we're going to get back into things pretty quick. So if you've got something, reach out to me, kevin@jmwfabrication.com. And until next time, get out there, get it done, and get it invoiced. Hey guys, welcome to the Welding Business Owners Podcast, where our podcasts are late but our bids are on time. I'm your host, Kevin, with JMW Fabrication. On the heel of the Fabricator Olympics, I wanted to reflect on a few things that we did, let you guys in on some secrets of what the challenges are, how they went, how the whole thing went down. So I invited a few of the guys, Jason Becker, Scott Milligan, and James Dombrowski, to hop onto a call so that you guys can hear it for yourselves. So without any further ado, here's the episode. All right, so we are here with three of the guys who came out to the Fabricator Olympics. We've got Jason Becker, we got James Dombrowski, and Scott Milligan from Concord River Fab. Scott came down from Maine. James, you're from Virginia. And that's Jason, right. You flew up from Florida, right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. I just want to do a little recap of what we did here and how things went compared to last year. Give me some feedback. Let the listeners know what we did. I'm going to say we can go ahead and spill the beans on all the competitions that we did. Last year, I kind of kept it a little hush-hush, low-key about what it was, but I think we're going to completely switch everything up this year. So let's do a rundown. Feel free to talk about any competition because it's no longer a secret. So this year we did have, we got quite a bit of rain. It definitely put a damper on some things. It was an outside event. We had some logistics that we should have covered a little bit better, like the big old tent that we were supposed to have didn't come about because apparently we had underground drainage that we had to deal with. So I think overall the event went pretty well. How about you guys?
Yeah, I loved it.
I mean, as far as both years rained, first year wasn't as much of an issue because we were inside the shop. But what would you say, like half the space last year compared to this year? Quarter of the space?
Quarter of the space. I mean, our shop is only 2,500 square feet. And then the outside portion was really just under the tent that we had the first year.
Yeah, for eating, catering, all that other stuff.
Yep.
I think last year was great. I mean, especially putting it together for the first year, having a competition like that. I think everything went great. This year, you made several vast improvements, and I know next year is going to be even better. You know, just taking into account. I mean, you can't take into account everything. I think for the kind of cards we were dealt that morning as far as the rain, we did really well as a team because we could still put on the competition. So a lot of the spectator games, we really couldn't get the spectators involved because of the rain and the covering issue. But at least everybody that showed up to compete, they got to compete throughout the entire competition.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the things that really, we just, what more real world situation than working in the rain when it's not called out to rain when you scheduled it,
Yep.
To give you a little bit of a backstory, we had two big tents ready to go. This year we held it at the Bethlehem area Votech school, and the principal there was super accommodating. He's like, anything you need, you're good. I got you covered. And we ordered the tents. They were ready to go. I went and talked with the groundskeeper on Monday about everything. And then I told him our plan of putting up the tents, and he's like, well, you can't drive stakes down through the principal said that we can make all the holes in the asphalt that we want because they're going to repave it next year. I'm like, awesome. We'll just, make it our home. And apparently there's underground drainage, and we weren't able to actually put up the big tents. So that kind of put a damper on that. But we decided, you know what, we're going to buy 10 by 20 easy ups. So in case there is anything that happens, we don't have to worry about it. We can still keep the competition going. That was Monday, and it showed a good forecast. It showed good, and then it just got slowly worse as the weekend came. I'm like, no. We went from like sunny and like a 10% chance of rain to maybe rain and scattered showers, and then it's gonna rain, and then just it rained. It all worked out really well except for the power situation because the GFIs we set up the night before. It all turned out great, but all the cords got wet, and we were popping breakers left and right. So I think next year we're gonna have to have it inside. We're absolutely gonna have to have it inside. So
yeah, either warehouse or one of the big circus tents. Even if you can't drive stakes in the ground, Kevin, you and I were talking after the event. They can use those big concrete blocks. We called them dumb heads. We used to set up for events for all the time out at the theme parks for the big marathons. And there's specific areas you couldn't drive into the ground, any stakes or pins or anything like that. So we just used, I think they're like 3 foot by 3 foot concrete blocks. They got a big rebar loop in them, and you can just tie right down to that.
Yep.
But ideally, because it seems like depending on where you're going to hold it next year, the rain was an issue both years, and you held them 3 weeks apart, essentially.
Yep. Yeah, it did. We did have rain last year, but we were inside. I think from, moving forward, it just has to be inside. Whether it is a big giant circus tent or it is in somebody's big shop, it just has to be an inside/outside event.
Yeah, I think that would help out quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I heard great stuff from the vendors. Everybody was super pleased with how everything turned out. What did you guys think of the actual competition itself?
Yeah, it was great. It was fun last year, and it was interesting to see what was going to be different this year. See, last year the kicker for me was the coping challenge. That beat the snot out of me. And the judge, was it Bill? Is that his name?
Yes, Bill.
Bill, I remember after I did the coping, I said, yeah, man, that was tough. He says, yeah, it was pretty tough, but, you did okay. And as I was walking away, I heard him go, not even close.
That sounds like Bill.
So this year, the kicker was that plasma challenge, trying to drill holes with a plasma cutter. And, all right, you get the pregame jitters, and I'm blowing my holes in it. I flip it over. I put more holes in. I look down, and I can't even see through it. Oh, no.
Explain out a little bit more what that was for people who weren't there.
Yeah, so we had to make 3 different size holes as if we drilled them through pipe. So we had to make a 1/2 inch hole, 3/8 and 5/16, I believe it was, but with a plasma cutter. So I cut my 3 holes on top, 1/2 inch, 3/8, 5/16, flip the pipe 180 degrees, and then try to make the same holes in the same spot on the other side so a bolt could drop through as if it were drilled.
Yeah.
And for my bolt to go through, it would have to have quite the S-curve to it.
And I like the fact that you made him cut out the larger diameter hole first, right?
Yep.
So they had to get smaller each time, so you couldn't just make a mistake and stuff a bigger bolt in there.
Exactly. I figured out if I did it, how would I game this challenge? I thought about it, and that just it made the most sense to me as well. If I just screw up, I can just call that my bigger hole. So, in the rules, it was you had to do it in order from largest to smallest. That way, if you screwed up on the smaller holes, well, you were kind of just screwed,
Yeah, it was a good way to do it. I like the method. I want to say his name is Corey, the guy that does the nuke work.
Yeah.
He turned the pipe sideways. And so he knelt down to do it so he could see through it sideways versus going up and down. Like everybody else was going vertical. He just flipped it, 90 degrees and went through sideways. I think that was a good plan of attack.
That was a good idea.
So I think the biggest thing there was, so compared to first year versus this last year, was first year, I mean, coming from out of state especially, you don't really know what to expect, and nobody did. You didn't give away anything on that year. So it's kind of like just show up and do what you need to do, figure it out, because everything was new. Like, everything about the event was new. There was no information on anything pertaining to any of the challenges. So you didn't even know what to practice if you felt like you needed some work.
Yep.
This year, I mean, I'm sure Scott and me coming back for second year, it felt way more comfortable coming back this year. I kind of had a good idea on how we were going to do things. So like you knew kind of what to expect. Super willing to help out this year, especially knowing that like we're coming in from out of state, staying in a hotel. Like we're not just going to sit there. We're going to absolutely come out there and assist where we can without, you revealing too much, but help where we can the whole day before. And then coming in, I will say this to anybody who's listening, get your tickets early. That, especially with Corey turning that sideways, when you're the last guy and you see that right before you and you go, oh man, that's a really good idea. I think I'm going to try that. That's going to save a lot of time. That makes like a huge difference in your times.
Yeah. So it was awesome that you guys stepped up to really help us out on Friday setup. That was like, it was key. Like there was so much, like we had an army of kids help us out from the tech school and a bunch of volunteers, and we were still there till 8:00 at night. So thank you guys for that.
A lot of setup this year.
Yeah.
A lot of setup
to really run it well and to do it. Like even with all the preparation we had, there was still so much to it. To go to your fact of buying your tickets early. So what we do is we prioritize, we break everybody into groups of like, 6-ish. And whoever in that group, whoever bought their ticket first gets to go last. Because if you go first, you're the guinea pig and everybody gets to watch you and they get to watch your methods. And if they're able to learn how you do it, then they've got an advantage. But their advantage is just because they bought their ticket early. So yes, guys out there, if you plan on coming next year, get your ticket when I announce it because you will have an advantage. That's the only advantage you're probably going to have, but get them early.
No, James bought the first ticket.
Yeah,
we were first and second, right? Yeah.
Well, that was the thing.
This year. I saw that email pop up, and I was like, "Oh, that's mine now."
Yeah.
Even the judges didn't know what the competition was going to be until like 7:50 the night before. Kevin was passing out, like, here's what you're going to do. Here's what you're going to do. Here's your station. So, I mean, you kept that really close to the chest. So nobody knew what was happening. Even the people that were volunteering, walking around, the people that, judging the competition, we had no idea. I knew, certain things, but like not enough to really go on.
Yep. I want the best fabricator, not the best practicer.
Yep.
What do you guys think about the returning the cutoff wheel? I think was a favorite.
Putting
the
a time limit on it was crucial. Absolutely.
Yeah. Seeing how long you could make a cutoff wheel last. First year, I didn't think that somebody could make it last, 50 something minutes and get 40 something cuts. Like that was just mind boggling to me. And it kind of threw us for a loop on time because it just made the whole event run longer. So putting a time limit on it this year was definitely the way to go.
Yeah. After 10 minutes with a cutting wheel, you're ready to be done anyway.
Right.
Yeah, they can't, instead of camping out at that station all day.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. Like, my back was toast after 10 minutes. I couldn't imagine sitting there for almost an hour.
Right.
No, you threw me through a loop this year. I nailed that. We can talk about it now, right? That picture frame the first year.
Mm-hmm.
Because I figured out your table setups. And then I guess it clicked in your head. You're like, oh yeah, we got to cover the table this year. He can't do that again.
Yep.
For everybody who's listening, those jig tables are 2 inches on center on the holes. So,
and they're going to be covered next year.
4.5 inches.
Yeah. Well, you changed up dimensions this year too, so it wasn't a square; it was a rectangle.
Yep, exactly. Because it was probably 10 by 10 square that you had to cut and then tack it together, but you couldn't use a tape measure. So, next year
it was 8 by 8. I remember.
It was 8 by 8.
I remember how many holes it was.
Because you were like dead nuts accurate on it. I'm like, how is this guy completely 8 by 8 all 4 ways? Like, that's just it's unheard of.
I turned away too. He was measuring it a few times, and I was like, I can't stand here and watch my score. I was like, I gotta walk away. Getting more nervous. I was like, did I count that right?
Yeah, Jason, you did a lot of the scoring. What do you think about turning everything from fractions to decimals?
I think it probably throws a lot of people off.
Yeah.
So that could hurt some people. It could help some people. Because when you get a set of prints, it could be fractions. I've seen prints that are mixed. So like half the dimensions are decimal, the other half are fractions. So, that can really throw you for a loop.
Yeah.
But like the competition that I was kind of overseeing was all just the fillet challenge. And so I thought that was kind of neat because some people were getting pretty creative with that. For those that don't know, you had a 1/2 inch plate with a 3/4 inch hole in there, and you have to fill the entire hole up with weld metal and then grind it flush. And so I thought the one guy, it took him all day, but I think it was the second to last group. He went ahead and turned the plate on its side because a lot of people were leaving them flat. And I had to tell every group, like, don't use the table as a backer because they're similar metals and you will weld the plate right to the table. So don't do that. So a lot of them would hold it off. But the one guy, he flipped it up on its end and filled it in that way. I thought that was pretty slick because nobody had ever done that, during the day or last year when we did it. Last year was a 1-inch hole. Yep. But I think the fastest time was like 2 minutes and 5 seconds. And I was like, there's no way. I don't think that guy filled we were talking about it later on that night. I don't think he filled in that entire hole. He just like put enough to cap both ends of the hole and ground it flush.
I think if you drill those out, you'd find a lot of hollow holes.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Yeah. We'll cut it and do a macro edge next year.
Yeah. That could be the drill challenge. You fill the hole and then you have to drill it.
There you go.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to give the judges a welding hood to make sure that those holes are filled all the way and not just ran cold and capped off.
Or just make it out tricks.
Yeah, or just make it out a 1/4 inch and you don't really have a choice. How about the drill challenge? What do you guys think about that?
It's troublesome as every year for everybody. It seems like everybody was snapping. I was like, holy shit.
It's so funny how many people can't drill holes. Everyone was complaining about the drill slipping. So when I went in, I'm figuring, the chuck must have been all wallowed out and wasn't holding the bit. So I asked Dylan, I said, hey, there's 3 different drills. Can I get a fresh one? Because the drills are slipping. And he says, he's like, yeah, you can, but I'll tell you right now, it's not the drill. All right. So I get into it and I look and I see the drills have flats ground on them. I'm like, oh man, I bet they're not lining the flats up with the jaws. No wonder they're spinning. I had no issue. It drilled no problem. You just got to line the flats up.
There's a lot of snap bits. I talked to Dylan about that, and there was a lot of snap bits.
Oh yeah.
Not even the pilots. They were busting the 3/8 ones.
I'm so glad I have a Bridgeport to do all my drilling because, if I was doing that with drill bits, my own drill bits, I'd be going through them.
Yeah, I think adding in that you have to do a pilot hole kind of threw a nice wrench into it to make it so that everybody, because it's not only about just the drilling part. Honestly, I thought the drilling was going to go a lot faster than it did from last year. because everybody kind of learned how to, if you were smart and watched everybody else drill the holes, you could figure out whatever method was best. And because last year it was a 1/2 inch hole through 1 inch solid bar, and I think the fastest time was sub 1 minute, but you didn't have to use a pilot hole. So this year you had to use a pilot hole, and it was a 3/8 bit. And I think everybody starting out, when they first started out going from the pilot bit up to the 3/8, they started on the material, and they're all brand new bits, all brand new. We have 40 different drill indexes. You start out, that thing bites really good and just snaps right off. I found a bunch of them that were chipped, chattered. Like I opened up all the drill indexes afterwards and laid them all out. I'm like, ooh, some of these are nasty. They're missing parts of the flute coming off. One of them's like a 1/2 inch shorter, which I don't even know how you get a 1/2 inch shorter, because usually when it breaks further down. Some of them were just completely missing. It was, I thought it was going to be a little bit easier for everybody this year for the drill, but obviously I was wrong.
Did anybody run it on hammer this year? I remember last year there was a couple of them that ran it on hammer. I was like,
Kevin did not. I asked him that assembling those things, and I was like, "There's no hammer option." He's like, "Nah."
There is no hammer option on the drills this year, because last year I bought those. The drills we used this year were still cheap drills, but it was the fact that they didn't know that they had to turn off a hammer last year. It was you could hear.
What blew my mind is people were setting it on hammer.
I think I grabbed one that was on hammer, and I was like, "What is going on here?" Like
on hammer, running in reverse.
Yeah, last year I was like, "What is going on?"
It's just like any other drill you grab out of the gang box. I'm like, you check it, make sure it's going the right direction, make sure it's not set on hammer, and then make sure it's not set for the gear. If it's set to drill bit, you kind of go through your tools before you start working on them. Ideally,
you would think.
One would think. One would also think you wouldn't try and run them in reverse on hammer.
Well, you never know. It's. I remember the first year hearing whoever put it on hammer and just going to town. And I walked over and I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just not, I'm gonna let this play itself out, and I'm not gonna say anything.
Well, because I was that's the competition that I was one of the ones I was judging last year, and I was like, should I say something? And I was like, I'm not allowed to help anybody, so I really had to restrain myself and just kind of grit my teeth, like, oh, you're really screwing up there, bud.
But so as soon as you turn around and walk back into the shop last year, and you look at everybody, and they're just like, they almost roll their eyes, and they're kind of like biting their teeth, like, oh my gosh, really? Is this what this guy's doing? It was something, man.
It was a good time. I like the fact that you didn't repeat the same challenges last year that you did this year. Now the fact that you have challenges that you did year one and some that you did year two, I'm sure you're going to add more into year three. Mm-hmm. Now you've got like a mixture of different competitions.
Yeah.
So, if somebody's going to practice, you got to practice all of them, because, you're just like pulling random, competitions out of the hat. Yeah. But I do like the coping one. I think we did that one last year. That was a lot of fun. That was really challenging for a lot of people to be able to eyeball, what was it, a 90 on one side and a coped like an 1.5 inch schedule 80 on the other side.
Yep.
And it had to fit inside of a little fixture or jig. And that's how you're able to, measure it and check it. But I think that threw a lot of people through a loop, because it's got to be indexed properly. You got to find kind of center line of that pipe to pull your cope and your angle from.
Yep.
I'll say this, as easy as it sounds for some of these challenges, that challenge last year, I thought I was going to do really well on, because I was like, oh yeah, I used to do roll cages, and I used to have to do all my copes by hand, I got used to it, and you could knock them out quick. And it's like, I get to it, and I'm like, wait, I haven't done a cope by hand in probably like 3 years. Like, especially without like a belt sander set up and everything, like get them nice and flat. Like, I haven't done one just by hand on a grinder in years.
Yeah.
And I think I got like 3 out of the 4 corners in, and it was just like I was trying too hard to get that tight tolerance, and it bit me in the ass. But all in all, it was good. It's honestly a good test of skill, all these challenges.
just the competition setting will make something that you're good at difficult. I was talking to somebody about that at the competition. I'm waiting for the drill challenge. Like I drill holes all the time. I almost feel sick. I'm so nervous. Like you got to drill this hole right. You got to not bust a bit. The competition aspect makes it harder than it normally would be. It's exciting.
Did any of you guys try the cylinder rolling contest?
Absolutely. Suck at it. That was terrible. So glad I have guys to do that for me. That's awesome.
That's the cylinder delivery guy, because welders need heroes too, right?
That's right. Get yourself a dolly.
Everybody thinks they can roll a cylinder until it's time to roll a cylinder across
Although
the shop.
some of your guys were fast. Those guys, what was that time that you put down, Kevin?
I was 45 seconds around.
And you held that record for all of, 30 seconds? Until somebody beat it?
Yeah, it was like 44 seconds, because as soon as I announced that, somebody went over there and beat me at 44 or 43 seconds. And then
I think they got it down to 38 across that whole course.
Crazy.
Damn.
That's crazy.
That's one. I didn't get to try that. I wanted to. I didn't get a chance.
Oh,
I didn't dare try with those drunk goggles. That was we falling all over the place.
Yeah, I think the welding supply guys kind of cleaned house with the drunk goggles and the double cylinder rolling contest, because I mean I tried doing doubles back in the day and I was terrible. And then I tried actually on Saturday or Friday and I'm like, oh, this isn't that bad, but I definitely wasn't good. But the cylinder guys, they really, the doubles was, there was no welder who could really hold a candle to the guys who were working for the distributors there.
No, they do that all day, every day.
Yep.
But bring those guys in and let them weld or drill a hole. Let's see how well they do.
No, stick to what you're good at.
You got to make it fair.
I tried out the drunk goggles a little bit, and I was like, you know what? I tried them out on Friday. I'm like, man, I still have a whole other day ahead of me. I can't injure myself right now. Like, let's not do this.
Oh, he walked up and passed them to me. I was putting together the Lincoln Fab tables, and he was like, "Here, try to put some nuts on some of the bolts with these things." That was the upside down ones.
Oh yeah,
that was really throwing me for a loop, because up is down, down is up, left is right. Everything's back asswards.
Yeah, Kevin, you need to bring those the inverted welding hood next year. I was really looking forward to that, and then some of those games got canceled just due to the rain. Intense supply.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that should be part of a challenge for you guys next year, is to try to. I try to do the Fabricator Olympics and keep it to actual fabrication skills. And welding with upside down goggles is not really a true fabrication skill, but I think we should at least make everybody try it once, and see how it goes, because it is, boy, like I put that Instagram video up of Dylan doing it, and Dylan's probably one of the best TIG welders I've ever met, and he tried 3 times
he
to
couldn't
put
even
down a
tack the
TIG
plate.
I'm telling you, man, it really screws you up with those goggles. Like, it is no joke. Yeah, I'm pretty bummed that we weren't able to implement that this year, but definitely next year.
I liked your idea of doing like an inversion table. So I think you could probably, maybe insurance would let, instead of hanging somebody upside down or using the upside down goggles, using an inversion table to flip somebody upside down, because that's relatively safe. I mean, they're not going anywhere. You get a good table, flip them upside down and let them weld like that. I would have been definitely down to try that one.
Till it goes down your shirt and there's nowhere to run.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. I usually tuck my beard in my shirt, so this time it'd probably be all up in the hood. Yep. I wouldn't be able to see either way. Just weld by braille at that point.
Yeah. Not a bad idea. I like it. I'm going to have to convince some people to let us do that.
Are you going to hold it in PA again next year? Like same area? Or I know you've talked about moving it out to different areas, but is that you still thinking you're going to keep it in PA next year?
I think so. I think we are going to keep it in PA. We have a few, this year was a real learning experience for a bigger venue. The first year I controlled everything because I was in my shop. This year we were not in my shop, and I was not able to control every little aspect of, oh, we just need another extension cord. Just go get it. oh, you need this over here, consumables that we forgot to order. Oh, no problem. Just go in the drawer over in the sea container and get them. You know what I mean? So this year was a good learning experience as far as logistics wise. I think we should probably still do it one more year here in Pennsylvania before we take it on the road. Just every technical thing that could go wrong on Saturday morning did. Registration took longer, trying to print things out the morning of, and the printer not connecting. It was just a logistical nightmare, and everything that could go wrong did. So I think we need one more year under our belt to really iron it out and make it a smooth, seamless event. And then, but like before we take it on the road. So I think next year it is going to be in PA. I don't know if it's going to be at the same event, but it's going to be in the area.
Do you have any target areas you're thinking about trying to go when you do go on the road?
So
Orlando, Florida.
Possibly. Yeah, no, really. Because if you think about it, everybody's busy in the summertime. So you come out of winter, you're in the rainy season up here in Pennsylvania. So it's rainy season. April showers bring May flowers. So April, you got May. May's okay, but then you're getting into like early graduation season. People graduating high school and college in June. And then you have to compete with family vacations in July, along with other graduation parties in July. And, you know, most of us are business owners or working for somebody in the industry. We're all busy in the summer. We're all busy. Come, July, August, you're kind of trying to get your, you look up and it's August and you're like, crap, I haven't had a vacation with the family. So everybody's on vacation in August. So then you got to compete with FabTech. Like obviously FabTech is much bigger. So I had to work around FabTech, have to work around CanWeld a little bit. We haven't had anybody come from out of country yet that I know of. So CanWeld, not so much, but FabTech, a lot of guys, they save up their vacation time. They save up their money for FabTech. That's kind of the thing that they do. I ran into a lot of that, personally inviting guys this year. They're like, hey, I can do FabTech, but I can't take any more time doing that. So I think the kickoff of our traveling when we do it will be here in Pennsylvania in the late September, early October time. And then I think we'll probably take it down, probably Florida. Obviously, I think Texas is going to be a big one too. I don't know where else. If you think about it, if you're looking into October, like late October, November-ish, people kind of gearing up for the holidays. I don't know if people are going to really commit to doing anything in November unless it's somewhere warmer. Because, once it gets cold up here, I mean, Scott, you guys are cold up there all the time. So it doesn't, you don't really count. But, so like in the middle of the States, like you do less when it's cold out. So let's kind of move this to someplace that's warmer in the wintertime. Everybody, November, you got Thanksgiving, Christmas is in December. People don't do a whole lot in like January, February, March. So maybe we'll do our schedule in the wintertime somewhere warmer. Really, I don't know. I think it all depends on who steps up and has a place to do this, who really wants to hop on board and provide a shop, or some place to do it, whether we can rent it or they donate it to us. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking if we're going to do it in the winter, we're going to do it somewhere warm. And if we're going to do it in the summertime, I'm not going to do it in Florida and make everybody wear welding jackets in Florida.
It's miserable here in the summer. But like right now, today it was 82.
Oh,
82 is not bad. Scott's already sweating.
I thought it was nice today. It was like 50.
That's what I was hoping for, because last year it was a little chilly up there in PA. And this year I went up there and I was like, I wore my hoodie like for a little bit Saturday morning, but then like it kind of warmed up and I was like, man, I was really hoping to get some cold weather this year, because this was the only event that I was traveling to. And I'd like to go out and experience other climates and temperatures and seasons, because Florida, we get summer and summer junior. So it's like I get to wear a hoodie maybe 4 or 5 times a year. And, you know, it's never, you know, I never really get to experience cold.
I mean, I will say that you had a pretty good team this year as far as all the helpers. I don't remember how many people helped out last year, but there were a significant amount of people that stepped up this year to help the day before, to help the morning of, to help during competition. There was a lot of behind-the-scenes help during competition, trying to get the stuff right for that, especially that final competition.
Yeah.
And I was also pretty proud to see a lot of like younger guys proving themselves this year. A lot of younger guys came in. A lot of younger guys hit podium, especially with these guys have been doing it for a long, like much longer time.
Yeah.
It's just nice to see. I think it kind of gives somebody a little bit to prove themselves out here, whether they're local or from out of state or whatever.
Yeah, that was cool to see so many younger guys do so well in there.
Did you have a lot of vocation kids from the school sign up?
No, because you have to be 18 to sign up.
Okay.
So we do have an age limit for insurance to actually be in the competition of 18. It was it's 14 to get in, and it's 18 to actually compete. But it was really cool to see the other guys. You know, the first year we had some older grizzled guys out there, and I was like, this is going to be awesome. They're going to do so well, and I don't know how well they did, but they didn't place top 5. They really didn't.
Great.
Yeah. So I really like the mixture of the older guys and the younger guys. So
definitely a big reality check.
Heck yeah.
Going out there.
I think next year what we're going to do is we're going to lower the ticket price to get in because, you know, this year it was $25 to spectate. And a lot of people didn't know that included the food too. That included the meal, which was like, you know how expensive food is now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like it was like, trust me, we weren't making any money on those tickets. But I think offering food next year and bringing the ticket price down to like $10 or $15 so that it's more affordable for people to get in is going to be something that we change. We did give discount codes to all the students and everything like that. And all the students who actually volunteered got in for free. But I think that's going to be a change we're going to do next year. The food truck was actually a pretty good call. I think everybody was raving of how well the food was there this year.
I think your ticket prices were more than reasonable, especially for the food that was provided.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get a meal like that for under $20 anywhere. So if you paid $25 to get in, $20 goes to your meal, $5 goes to cover the cost of insurance, you know, operating the, you know, getting all the pop-up tents and all that. So I think 25 is relatively reasonable for what people are getting. Plus everybody gets a grab bag on the way in that, you know, there's $10 to $15 worth of swag in each bag that they got. So I think it's more than enough for the price of admission. That's just my opinion though. Cause like if you walked away hungry, that was your fault. I mean, they had pulled pork, chicken, baked beans,
some brisket there, wasn't there?
Oh, the brisket was freaking amazing. Mac and cheese, coleslaw. I mean, bread, everything. It was damn good.
Even the price for a competitor ticket was we had talked about it. For what you get for what you pay, it's unbelievable. All your PPE and everything, and a meal plus the competition. It seems extremely reasonable.
Right. Yeah, everybody walked away with $100 worth of gloves. Damn.
I was going to say, well, Scott walked away with a whole hypertherm and a 180 Lincoln. Like, yeah, no shit, $100 was good.
$30 well spent there, Scott.
Yeah, really.
No, I think one thing, Kevin, you know, one thing I don't think we've considered is, you know, for each event, you have a specific sponsor that, you know, covers that event. So Walter provided all the grinding wheels, which shout out to them because that's really the only one I got to see because I was there, was that those excavator discs all day, man. I kept hearing from people like, these things are freaking amazing. And I was watching everybody use them and I'm like, damn, those things eat some material super quick. And they didn't use up much of the disc. So, but how you have, you know, CK sponsoring the TIG portion, Hypertherm sponsoring the plasma portion, maybe each station, whoever places the top in that station, you know, even if they don't get to go on to, you know, the final 5, maybe there's like a prize from each sponsor for, winning that competition over like best overall.
Yeah. I really
like a TIG torch or, like a small sleeve of cutoff wheels or, just something, tchotchkes or whatever. Just for, hey, you did great at this event, and if you place, top in a couple different events, I mean, you make out like a bandit.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I found is that with approaching companies with this, everybody loves the idea. Everybody is on board to give us, as much as they can. Lincoln stepped up for the second year in a row with all the stuff that they gave away. All the PPE. You know how many hundreds of gloves that they sent, and beanies and do-rags and jackets, and they're just like, give it away, just take it. This is our donation to you guys. I mean, Walter was huge. Hypertherm was awesome. We had some really great raffle prizes just to give away. Lincoln Commercial stepped up with a couple fab packs, 3 of them actually, even for the winner of the truck show. I mean, Origin stepped up. Their outfits are just out of this world. They are just, all American made. Jocko Energy, Harrington Hoist, JPW, Alliance, and even if they didn't give away exactly what their product was, they still donated a good amount to put this on. So shout out to those guys for just believing in this and just supporting it any way they can, because honestly, the amount that the tens of thousands of dollars of stuff that was given just to make this happen, it still just blows my mind to come from such a small little, niche thing of like a Fabricator Olympics, this crazy idea I had like 2.5 years ago.
No, it's super cool to see it, come to fruition. I mean, you've put a lot of hard work, dedication into it. I know Melissa's been a huge help. I kind of missed her cooking this year, as as opposed to last year. But no, but I mean, it's really cool to watch you kind of bring this from concept to reality. And like, I'm just happy to be a part of it and go up there and judge and, get to meet awesome people and hang out with you guys and kind of work through it with you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man. We're happy to have you guys on board. It's really cool to see the guys who, come out, for the second year in a row. And I'm excited to see you guys come out for the 10th year in a row and be part of the crew,
Yeah, I do a lot of competitions, not this year specifically, but previous years, mostly welding stuff, some light fabrication, but this is like by far my favorite competition because it's completely unique. You're kind of breaking the mold with what you're doing here. It's not just based off of a great weld, because you all of us here, everybody listening, they know that at the end of the day, it's not about a great weld. You need a weld that's going to hold. You need a weld that's going to perform, but you have to be able to cut, fit, fabricate. That's one of the things that's not being taught in a lot of different welding programs. Everybody teaches that, 4 to 6 inches, fillet weld, groove weld, boom, that's it. And then they release them out in the industry and they have no idea how to run a drill, as we can see from the Fabricator Olympics. A lot of people aren't trained how to operate a drill properly, or fill in a hole, or, having to make, cuts with a plasma cutter or a torch versus a CNC system. So it's really cool to see, you've pulled kind of like the best parts of fabrication out of the industry and put it on display for everybody to compete against.
Cool. Well, thank you, man. That means a lot. It's fun. It's was my passion, and I'm glad it's the passion of all you guys too. What'd you guys think about the truck show?
Dude, that Kenworth. The second that thing rolled in, I'm like, that's it. That guy's gonna win. They were all cool, but we had him rolling in. What a killer rig!
I was not expecting a friggin' semi with a crane on the back of it.
There was a lot of nice rigs. I'm a sucker for all the hand painted stuff on that GMC.
Yeah,
all of the hand lettering.
Yep, there's some cool rigs out there. I know most of those guys, and I was like, you know what, like. Because who doesn't love checking out somebody else's rig when you've got a rig like that? It's like car guys go to car shows to check out each other's cars. We all go to FabTech to talk shop with each other. Let's invite the two together in one spot so that we can just check out each other's tools, each other's layouts, and have some fun with it.
I think that was a great addition this year. I was definitely not expecting, like I said, the semi. And then the guy gets out of the truck and he matches it. Like his welding jacket matched the truck. So I thought that was kind of neat.
Yep.
Did all the people that entered the truck show also enter the Olympics?
No, that was kind of its own thing. If you wanted to come, you had to come and be a spectator to be in the truck show. I think there was only maybe 4 guys who from the truck show who actually competed, and everybody else was just there to spectate.
Yeah, because I met Sam Hackman there that morning, and I said, "Hey, man, you here to compete?" He's like, "No, I'm just coming here to watch and everything. I think he's about 2 hours away."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Did you bring your rig with you?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "Dude, you should enter the rig truck competition." He's like, "Oh, I didn't even know that was going on." So it was like a lot of guys just came to watch and ended up, driving their work truck to, the event and just, pulling it up, registering that day.
Yep.
Because for a lot of the, the small business owners, their rig truck, that's their daily.
Yep. Cool. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time here. Are you guys, Jason, you're going to be a Fab Tech. Scott, James,
I hope so. I'm like 30 minutes from the event.
I think we're doing a podcast
really,
together,
Jason.
so
yeah, definitely. They're going to send you the information. I confirmed this week.
Good. Yeah, include me in on that email this time.
I did, and I let them know about your flight situation, so hopefully we can bump it up.
Awesome. How about you, Scott?
I can't swing it this year, but I'm planning. Was it Chicago next year?
Yeah, next odd years are in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm planning to go to that one.
Sweet. How about you, James?
Not this year, man. Not this year. Too much going on. A lot of expenses on that end. Although I would prefer it in Florida if I had to pick.
He stopped at the antique shop on the way back.
Yeah. I think I got a couple more people in Florida than I do in Chicago.
You guys got anything else?
Just thanks for putting this thing together. I've really enjoyed it, and I've been passionate about it since I first heard about it, and I plan to go every year as long as I can. It's just a great event.
You're an honorary judge this coming year.
Right on.
Oh, you can't win no more.
Oh yeah, you're not allowed.
Can't
to
win no
now.
more.
No, what that means is that I can't lose.
That's true. And you get free barbecue.
Yeah, perfect.
He'll come down just for the cooking.
I appreciate you inviting me out there for the past 2 years to be a judge for the competition. Like I said, I have a lot of fun doing it, and I look forward to helping and watching this thing grow. And anything that you need that I can help out with, don't hesitate to reach out and let me know about it. And I'll be more than happy to do everything I can to see this thing grow and succeed. We need it.
Cool.
Industry needs it.
Yeah. I want to make the trades cool again by doing this. And I think this is the first step into showing other kids that, being in the trades can be fun. It's not all dirty and sucky, and you still can make a lot of money with it. So just trying to do my part. All right. Well, guys, I'll let you go. I appreciate your time. And if I see you at FabTech, I'll see you there. And if not, then we'll be in touch again for next year.
Right on.
Cool. Sounds good, guys.
Thanks,
I'll talk to you soon. Well, that's it for this episode, guys. Check back next week for a brand new episode series with somebody you haven't heard yet. And until next time, get out there, get it done, and get it invoiced.